Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's another brand new week, brand new day, and brand new video. We are we have passed the mid of May, and I hope that everybody is doing okay. And today we are going to handle the issues of when it comes to the law, living with HIV, stigma and discrimination, and all that comes with that when you hear about the HIV and AIDS Tribunal and the HIV and AIDS Prevention and Control Act. That is, today we are hosting Nelson Otuoma from the Network of People Living with HIV and AIDS in Kenya, and he's going to give us a little bit of information about what HAPCA means, what stigma means, what is actually stated in the HIV and AIDS Prevention and Control Act, and also in what the HIV and AIDS Tribunal actually deals with. So stick with this video till the very end of it, and I hope at the very end of it you will have learned something new.
My name is Nelson Otuoma. I work at NEFAC.
So Nelson, have you ever been part of the HIV Tribunal?
Yeah, I was a member of the HIV Tribunal between 2018 and 2020.
What exactly does the tribunal do?
The tribunal litigates violations that occur to persons because of their HIV status or because of HIV. Yeah, and the tribunal is a creation of the HIV AIDS Prevention and Control Act, Section 25 and 27. That is what brought in a special court. It's like a special court to litigate issues to do with HIV violations and so on and so forth.
Okay, so the tribunal basically created the HIV prevention and the HAPCA.
No, it is the HIV Prevention and Control Act that created the tribunal.
Oh, okay. So the HIV Prevention and Control Act created the HIV Tribunal.
Yes.
So there is a question that I'm always asked about intentional HIV transmission. What does HAPCA say about it?
No, HAPCA used to say something about it, but HAPCA right now does not say anything about that. Section 24 of the Sexual
Offences Act.
Section 24 of the HIV Prevention and Control Act used to state that those who knowingly and recklessly infect others with HIV shall be liable for prosecution, although they did state a fine amount and a jail term. Yeah. And that is what Section 24 used to say, that if you knowingly and you recklessly infect somebody with HIV, you will be prosecuted. Yeah. You shall be liable for prosecution. Now that section was expunged from the HAPCA by a constitutional court. Okay. Activists took that section to court because it was criminalizing HIV and living with HIV, and it was expunged. So it is no longer part of the HAPCA. Okay. But we have a related law in Kenya, the Sexual Offences Act, Section 26. Talks about, like, for example, if you rape or you defile, and then it so happens that you are HIV positive, it means that you have a different penalty. Okay. So it is like you are recklessly and knowingly doing this, but if you rape or if you defile and you don't have HIV, that is not applicable. So that section again has gone to court, and we are advocating that it is, because it is isolating HIV and stigmatizing people in HIV, we are advocating that it is expunged altogether. Okay. Yes.
So, but can you go to jail for HIV transmission, not on related to rape or defilement, but normally, like you have sex with a person, you don't disclose your HIV status to them, and you infect them. Can you go to jail for that?
Yeah, it depends on the proof. I think the challenge is always the proof. The science of HIV is very difficult. Yeah. Because if you are infected with HIV today, and I was infected 10 years ago, there's no way of knowing that my HIV is older than yours. So if you take me to court, you will have to prove that you are HIV. You have to bring a test that you did before I infected you, and one that you did after that came together. So it's always very difficult, and you have to prove that your HIV came from me. But you remember the science of HIV is such that if you transmit it to a person, it mutates and it is different from where it came from.
Yeah.
Secondly, that section talks about knowingly. I can still come up and say I also didn't know.
Yeah. True. So when it comes on in relation to that, you have seen people create lists of people and say, I infected so and so with this, like this 300 people with HIV. Is that a crime per se according to HAPCA or the Sexual Offences Act?
No, the point is those are people who are not informed.
Yeah.
HIV is never efficiently transmitted. And efficiently transmitted, I mean, if an HIV positive person have sex with a HIV negative person, it is not automatic that they are infected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it is not something that you got into contact. There are many factors that influence that infection. That's why we have a discordant couples.
Yeah.
So if somebody has had sex with you for a period like 5 years, then chances are they will infect you. But if it is just one night contact or 1 week, chances are they will not. And secondly, if you are going out and saying you have infected the others, did you know their status? Did you know that they were negative before you transmitted that virus? So I don't think those are some of the myths that still exist in our country.
So when it comes to someone exposing your HIV status, like they go, you have not yet disclosed to anyone or to the public, and then they go out there and post your status on maybe social media or tell your neighbors and relatives and all that, is that a crime that can be addressed, that is addressed by HAPCA, and can it be dealt by the HIV&AIDS Tribunal?
Yeah, that is illegal. It's not just HIV. Medically, it is only you and your doctor that have the knowledge of what is making you sick or making you unwell. Now, with specific to HIV, Section 2 of the HIV/AIDS Prevention and Control Act talks about privacy, confidentiality, and consent.
Yeah.
So nobody can reveal your privacy. It is a confidential issue and can only be shared with your consent. So even most of the cases we have in the tribunal are people whose status were disclosed either in school, learning institutions, or insurance. So the doctor takes the bill to the insurance, and the insurance says, no, I'm not paying because this is HIV related, because the insurance wants to know what is making them sick. Then they say they have underlying condition called HIV, but it is this pneumonia that is making them sick, and the insurance runs away. Now, in that case, the doctor and the insurance is doing illegal things because they are discriminating.
Yeah.
The doctor has revealed, and sometimes it is the employer.
Yeah.
The employer reveals your status that is illegal.
Yeah. So when it comes to widows and orphaned and vulnerable children, we have seen them being discriminated because they have lost their partner due to HIV and AIDS, and even that society is not accepting of people who die because of AIDS, because it's AIDS that kills. Does the HAPCA protect them, and can they sue in the HIV Tribunal?
Unfortunately, depends on how they are discriminated. If they are discriminated because they are HIV positive, they can sue. If you refuse to take them to school, if you get them out of school, or if you chase away a widow because they have HIV, they can sue, and they will get their rights. They will get compensation.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a widow who somebody is taking away your land, that does not go to the tribunal.
Okay.
That goes to the High Court or the Environment Court.
Okay. So when it comes to key populations, when I say key populations, I mean the female sex workers, male sex workers, MSMs, all those. What does the HAPCA say anything about them, or their own scenario is dealt with in the penal code?
First of all, the people you call key populations, men who have sex with men, sex workers, and people who inject drugs, they have nothing to do with HIV. That has nothing to do with HIV.
Okay.
Except that they are at increased risk. So the HIV Tribunal will not deal with them because they are key population, but will deal with them if they are infected.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, they don't have really anything to do with that, to do with
No, if they have HIV, then the tribunal covers.
Okay, and the very last question, stigma of people living with HIV. People living with HIV have for the longest time said, I'm being stigmatized. Does HAPCA officially, or is there an official definition of stigma and discrimination against people living with HIV in the HAPCA?
Yeah, the HAPCA talks about stigma and discrimination, but when we talk about the HIV Tribunal, they have what they call a legal threshold.
Okay.
So all issues must meet a legal threshold. So they deal more with discrimination and not stigma. So stigma is difficult to define.
Yeah.
So what the tribunal does is that they have partnership with the networks of people living with HIV. In the past, they used to have a counselor that can educate and counsel you. You don't go to court because you have been stigmatized.
Okay.
So it is an area that is really very gray. Of course, you know, even stigma keeps on changing, because right now, people who are stigmatized are people who, they are even stigmatized by people living with HIV,
Yeah, true.
and people who are not virtually suppressed. Yeah. So the law does not provide for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Nelson. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you have a question, please let me know so that I can always escalate it if I am not in a position to answer it. Thank you so much. See you next week.